Hey, welcome back to another episode of Wario Land 4. We're going to get started with 40 below fridge. I have a feeling it's going to go basically like every other level has so far. Replaying the game, like I'm still enjoying it to an extent. I still think it's a pretty good game, but I'm starting to like really feel the repetitiveness of this installment compared to other ones, and it's kind of unfortunate, but it's starting to like slowly like slip down the list of like where it is favorite wise for me. And I don't want to, like, as usual, this is just a representation of my own opinion. If you have loved the game in the past and you still love the game, like, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you have that the ability, hopefully the ability to play it and enjoy it. I'm just saying, for me, it's starting to get kind of repetitive. I'm kind of starting to get ready to be done with it. But I don't have a whole lot left of the game. I have, like, the last couple levels. I've got to go back and get the pieces of that, those shards that I missed, and hopefully we can go through this and everything without having to miss anymore. But I'm just saying, like, for me, I think I'm starting to really get over Wario Land 4, which is a shame because I remember really enjoying the game. Like, and when I say, what I'm saying now, like, just want to reiterate, I don't mean like that it's a bad game despite my, terrible gameplay right now. I don't think it's a bad game. It just feels kind of rushed and repetitive. And when I loaded the game back up, one of the things I noticed is that the game was released in 2001. And for me, I was kind of like, is that right? Like, there was only 1 year in between Wario Land 3 and 4. And, like, granted, I didn't check and see how much time was in between the first game to the second game, or like the second game to the third game, but like 1 year, especially working on something like a completely different handheld system, kind of feels like it isn't a whole lot of time. And so I was kind of like starting to think that, well, maybe the reason the game is so kind of simple and repetitive, see, I had to jump down, huh? Maybe the reason the game is so simple and a little repetitive is because it's like, they didn't really work on it as long as maybe one of the other games. And like I said, I didn't do any research about the game. I just saw that it was from 2001, and I know that, like, part 3 came out in 2000. So it's just like, it's like a year and a month, I think. Oh, right. I know what this is. So we got that one. So we got to try and get the other one. But yeah, so it kind of like illuminated to me, like, it kind of illuminated to me that it's like, okay, well, that makes sense if, like, if it was only like 1 year or something like that, then maybe it was like, well, that didn't work. So is there like, well, that didn't help. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. It's just to get one of those. Yeah, I'm not going to keep doing this. Like, it's not that important to me. But just to finish what I was saying, and I'll kind of leave it at that, like, it kind of makes sense. Like, the game is pretty creative, and I like the overall design and everything, but, like, it is kind of like, especially compared to part 3, it is kind of like for me, it kind of leaves a lot to be desired, considering that, like, you know, part 3 was, you know, you get an item from a level, it opens up other areas and other levels, and then you go and you get those items, and, like, you know, the whole world gets to open up and you get to see things change and everything. And then this one's kind of like, oh yeah, maybe you have to play through the same level like however many times necessary until you get like all the pieces you need to continue. As far as a handheld goes, I mean, that's... Wait, did this just repeat? Okay, so what was the point of doing this? Maybe it's so that I can walk through here as the snow, but that wouldn't make... Like, well, how would that help me? Not gonna lie, I'm a tad bit confused with this one, but you know, as a handheld goes, like, the game is still really good. Like, you know, this is just my own personal grievances, and a part of it just kind of comes from, like, you know, really loving the Wario Land series, and maybe I kind of understand why there wasn't a Wario Land 5. I mean, technically, I guess, Shake It was like Wario Land 5, but like, I guess I kind of understand now why it's like, maybe it really didn't do as well after that. I mean, I don't know how well 4 sold, really, but like, there we go, good. I don't know how well 4 sold, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know, there's sales versus reception, you know, in the sense that it's like, something can sell really well, and of course by word of mouth, you know, it kind of like, I don't know if that's gonna... Okay, so maybe I need to like try to like come in and around onto this ledge here, yeah. You know, and I don't know about any of that, honestly. I didn't do any research. I, you know, have thought about doing something where I kind of, you know, spend about 5 to 10 minutes talking about a game that I've already played and like my opinion and stuff of it, but like from the perspective of somebody who did no research at all, because, you know, that's something that, you know, usually when somebody makes like research, like okay, so there's something that way. If somebody does like a series where they're like a retrospective or something like that, like it's from this like, I researched this thing to death and back, and I'm like, I kind of want to do it more from like a player's perspective of someone who just, you know, has played the game, and this is just an opinion of like this, and haven't really done any research about like development or anything like that, because that's all fine and good. Like I love watching some videos that are like that personally. Like sometimes it's like really nice to sit down and learn about a game, especially if it's a game you really loved in the development. But like at the same time, it's also like, you know, I kind of just personally like the idea of just doing it from like the perspective of like, this is what it was like to play it. You know, everyone's mileage may vary, and they might have different like things they liked or disliked about it, but like just my perspective is would just be from like the perspective of somebody who, okay, I thought I might be able to go down there. The perspective of somebody who you know, this is just what it was like to play, as opposed to like all the little details about development, which is, like I said, really fun to hear about and everything. Okay, I guess I had to take that guy. Well, I'm not I don't really care that much about score, like I said. So I'm just kind of wanting to do what I need to do to finish up the game. Okay, so I gotta get snowed on and then fall on that, I guess. Shouldn't be too difficult, but yeah, you know, I just kind of wanted to be from the perspective of like, well, this was how what I experienced of the game and how I felt about it. I don't want to do that yet. Because there was a piece over here that I hadn't gotten yet. Alright. So yeah, like, that just kind of, that was something I had thought about doing. I don't know if I will, or like, if I do, when it'll roll out. But it's basically like, it would be done in the see, I don't think I can do it that way. I think I have to do it from the here. It would be done in the direction of like, yeah, I don't think I can. Well, it's whatever. It'd be kind of done in the perspective of, or like in the release order of like the series I've done in that order. You know what I mean? Like starting with Donkey Kong Country 2 and then moving on to Wario Land 3 and etc. etc. Just simply because like I personally, that's just the order I think would be good, because that's how I released my series. But like I said, haven't decided if I'm gonna actually do that or not. I would have to make some assets for that, which is not like a problem. That would just be a fun thing to spend a couple weeks doing. But you know, I'll probably, if I end up doing it, I'll probably do like an official announcement, like an official like channel update news talking about it. But that was just an idea I had like kicking around in my head. So I can talk about stuff like this, my, you know, perspective of the game without it taking up too terribly much time during the actual. See, do I want to do this? Is this a good idea? I don't think so, because I'm just going to hit that wall, right? Yeah, okay. So that I don't, you know, really take up that much time talking about it while playing the game. Which, I don't know, it might be interesting to listen to, it might not be. I can't really imagine too much why it would be, like, interesting to watch a video talking about it. There's one I'm missing, right? Oh, God. Might as well lock this one in. Can't imagine why it would be more interesting to watch a video that just talks about it versus like it coming up naturally through the game. But maybe it might be better to just be able to sit down and formulate the idea and be more concise and to the point so that I don't ramble on, you know, like write it out. Not really necessarily follow a script, but have like keynotes. But I'm gonna leave that there. That's something for the future. So this one was like, what, Pinball Zone? See, this game has some really cool ideas and designs and stuff, but like at the same time, it's just kind of like, I don't know, I just kind of feel, I'm just feeling a little underwhelmed replaying the game. You know, I'm not really, I'll eventually replay it, but like, I'm not really personally feeling like, super inspired to come back and play it again anytime soon. you know? Like at some point I'll replay it, but like it'll be a long time. If and when. And I only say, oh, come on, dude. I only say if because like you know, I like replaying games that I really enjoyed, but like at the same time it's like, you know, I also want to experience some newer games and stuff, like either games that are technically new, like they're new to me, or it is a new series that came out or something like that. But I don't, you know, like I'd want to be able to still experience newer stuff. But at the same time, you know, I think I've talked about it before. I think it was in Sly Cooper, maybe, that I was talking about, like, I'm really more excited about the idea of going back and playing games that came out when I was growing up for the consoles that I have, and maybe even possibly able to get, like, consoles I didn't have at some point. And like experiencing like the new games that are new, or the games that are new to me, and like, okay, I think I see how this has got to be done. Like experiencing the games that are like new to me that I've never got to experience growing up. And to me, that's more exciting than like buying a new console. Oh, come on, dude. I think mainly because it's just kind of like when it comes to, you know, Switch and PS5, I've already talked about it before, but you might not have heard it. But like when it comes to like Switch 2 or like PS5 or even like the first Switch, I feel like it's kind of they're like kind of like greatest hits consoles where like, well, that was a complete failure. You jerk. I kind of feel like they're like greatest hits consoles in the sense of like, you know, they almost exist more to re-release games that have already been released and have made a lot of money and stuff and are kind of playing on nostalgia. And don't get me wrong, I think it's great that there's like a way to be able to play a game you grew up if you don't still have the original like console and game and ability to hook it up to the TV and play it. And you want to be able to re-experience and replay the games. I think it's awesome that there's an opportunity to do that, but like I also feel like, at least personally, there hasn't really been a whole lot of like newer stuff that's come out that's been too exciting to me. I mean, there's been some stuff, you know, here and there, but like it's basically like a sequel to a game that series that I've been playing for a long time. Okay, dude, knock it off. So it's kind of like, you know, here's the new I'm going to intentionally take the hit there. Here's the new sequel to that series, like that kind of thing. Like, that I understand, you know, I will but I'll be like interested in it. Like for an example, you know, like I haven't played it, but like Metaphor or Shin Megami Tensei 5, like I really like Shin Megami Tensei 3. 4, like I don't really want to pay a lot of money to get 4 and then the sequel to 4 for the 3DS, you know. But you know, like those, or even like Persona 3 Reload. Like, I really like the original, or well, I haven't played the original. I played damn it, I haven't played the original. I played, you know, FES on the PlayStation 2. I really like FES. As far as like Persona games go, like Part 5 is my favorite, but that's just basically because, admittedly, it's because I played it first, and then to me FES has like the best story, and then 4 is pretty good, but 4 is also kind of like, you know, it's great, but sometimes it can be kind of a little whatever. I think the story kind of suffers from the problem of, like, you know, the characters should just like talk, you know, demonstrate the abilities and like talk to the adults, but they're like, oh no, they wouldn't listen, or they don't understand. It's like, I think they would listen if like you can show them that you can go through TVs and stuff. But I don't know, it just, there's times when it's just kind of like the story's a little frustrating. And I ended up like, I don't want to brag or anything, but like I don't know how many people have actually done it, but like I literally I'm not going to spoil it, but I literally knew who the villain was like the second I saw the villain. So it was kind of like, and they weren't really designed to look like a villain or anything. I'm just meaning like, I think a lot of it has to do mainly with just having been around for a long time and being able to like recognize the patterns of storytelling or something like that. But yeah, Persona 4 is still really good. I still enjoy it. I just don't like it as much as like 3 or 5. I mean, it's fine. It's fun. It's interesting and all, but like it's also kind of just like I don't like most of the characters in it. Like, I really don't like everyone's favorite Yosuke. I think it's Yosuke, yeah. Like, because his name, because it's, I recognized immediately that like it was kind of weird that in the next game they had a character named Yusuke, and I don't like that character either. But you know, and I'm not saying like they're necessarily like bad. Oh, can I not throw them there? I guess not. I'm not saying it like, oh, they're bad characters and that's why I don't like them. I just mean like, you know, I kind of am one of those people that if I don't like the characters in something, I'm not wasting time doing this. If I don't like the character or characters in something, like I tend to not enjoy it as much, if at all. Which I don't think there's really any, you know, problems. Is there like a spot to drop down or something? There we go. Like, I don't really mean that as in like, you know, I have to like every single character, or that a game or something can't be fun without that. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff in Persona 4 that I liked. I just, at the same time, it's just like, I've played it twice. The PlayStation 2 version and the Golden on the PS5, and like I'd rather just replay 3 or, you know, 5 personally. But saying that to say this, you know, like I was saying, like I don't ever put forward criticism as a way to like try and cut something down or someone's enjoyment. Like, me expressing if I don't like something, or if I express that like there's a reason why I would prefer one thing over another, then it's because like that's just my opinion, and if you enjoy it, like I have no interest in like ruining it for you. I'm actually happy that, you know, if you find great enjoyment in it, I actually am happy for you. Like I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I'm just saying these are my observations, like, and you know, it's kind of like, you know, same thing with Persona 5. You know, I said that like and openly admit that like the reason Persona 5 is my favorite is because it was the first. Okay. The reason Persona 5 is my favorite is because it's the first one I played. I openly will admit that I think that Part 3 has the best story. Although I will say, the palaces in Part 5 is probably the best way to go about, like, you know, the dungeons, because, like, Tartarus kind of blows, I'm not gonna lie, and then the palaces from Part 4 is just Tartarus under a different name. And anybody who's played 5 but not the others, like, that's what is called, you know, they call it Mementos in Part 5, but it's Tartarus and the palaces from 4, where it's like, you know, they end up I could probably break through that, but let me get this first. Where it's like Tartarus and Mementos, or what else was it, like, you know, it's like it's randomly generated, so like if you leave and come back, it's not the same. You know, certain floors in Part 4 are the same, but like it's a completely different dungeon, so exploring it doesn't always result in like, are you gotta be kidding me, man? Exploring it doesn't always result into like, you know, having it completely explored, where like Part 5, it's an actual like fully designed dungeon that you run around and do stuff in, and when you've explored something, it's explored. But, you know, I'm gonna stop talking about Persona because I don't know how interesting that is. I just lamenting on the idea, or not really lamenting, but contemplating on the idea of, like, you know, different things like that, design and stuff. And I've often said it before, I'm not a game designer, so I'm not going to pretend to know what makes the best design of a game. I just know what works for me and what I enjoy and all, and I'm pretty sure I didn't get all of those for this too, which means we're going to have to go through every one of these levels again. That's kind of depressing, I'm not going to lie. But I guess the next episode, hopefully I can get the rest of these and fight the boss, but I really don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm going to end the video here. I guess I can show you what happens when you don't have. He's like, oh, I guess we're not going that way. But yeah, like, I'm going to end the video here. If you watched the video, I appreciate it. If you made it to this point in the video, I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.